Almost everybody I talk.
Hello.
Morning.
I know we were a couple minutes late. We were too busy talking amongst ourselves.
I know. There's no humidity, so we can talk without feeling like we're in a soup.
I know. Well, hello with Brooke. She goes, time for my good morning with Marianne and Melissa. You guys sound like a perky morning coffee chat show.
Maybe we need to get a glass of wine then, like somebody else I know that's on TV drinking wine.
I mean, I got a couple bottles like right over there. I could always.
No, I can't. So I'm talking. It's not going to happen.
Melanie says, good morning. Best part of the week. Amy, it's Wednesday. Good morning, beautiful people. Heidi, hello, everyone. Got the cup of Joe and ready for Ghost Chat Convo. And Lynette, good morning, ladies. Hello, Sue. September blessings. It is September 1st.
Gosh.
It's time to go dig out all the Halloween stuff, I think.
Well, it's already out in the stores.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I actually saw a Christmas tree up too already.
Oh man, that's just wrong.
And don't tell me that the candy they're selling for the last 2 months for Halloween is going to be fresh on the 31st. I don't believe that.
Depending on what
Guess what
do you call it? Chemicals or whatever in there for freshness.
Yeah, I guess. If something's fresh for 2 years, do you really want to eat it? No.
Not particularly. Hello, Margie and Nancy, Poodle Pants, Jackie and Judy. Let's see. We were talking beforehand about a possible upcoming couple places for springtime. So we're already planning spring events. So hopefully those will work out.
We're going to go and actually 2-hour one way, 3-hour another way, different directions. So we're trying to go south in Ohio, and I don't know which way Madison is.
Slightly east-ish. Yeah.
Okay.
So
we'll see. It's something to look forward to.
Right. Springtime activities, and when we're all tired of being stuck inside from winter and ice and snow. Hello, Deborah of Romper Room. Julie and James, Karen. I should find what wasn't a tennis racket that she used in Romper Room, the Romper Bumper Snapper Boo.
It was like a mirror, a handheld mirror.
Oh, I don't know why my little kid brain always thought it was a tennis racket.
It was an oval-shaped handheld mirror.
Okay.
And I have a handheld mirror, but mine is square. Mine is an oval like that was. And then it would change colors inside and go in a circle when she was going romper, stomper, do, whatever it was. Yeah.
We're going to have to get some of our crafty friends on there to kind of like replicate one.
Yeah, right. Somebody can do it, I'm sure.
Oh, yes. Deborah says, yes, it was a mirror that then got clear. So
then it sort of went in one of those twirly things where you could, like, it was, I don't know. I just caught glimpses of it while the children were watching it. So
yeah, that wasn't one that I watched a whole lot, but every now and then it would either be coming on or going off in between something else.
Seems to me my younger sister watched that a lot, and there's 10 years between me and my youngest sister, so that would make sense that it was, because that was an early program, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Maybe this is why I thought that. So Laurie Marr says it was a tennis racket without strings.
Sort of looked like a tennis racket, not as big though.
Right. Well, badminton, are they the same size?
Ping pong?
Maybe. So Brooke has our first question. She asks, is it common that one person might see ghosts differently? Like, is it possible to see shadow people sometimes, but then a fully formed figure another time?
Absolutely. And it is how you or the other person is looking at the energy that the ghost is got, the energy that the ghost has. Some people see him full, some people just see a shadow person. That's why it's so different for everybody.
Hmm. Now, do you consider shadow people and earthbounds, they're two separate type of beings?
No, I think they're the same thing. It's just how people perceive them or see them. I think they're identically the same. I have never seen a shadow person, but somebody standing next to me can look and go, well, there's the shadow walking there while I see the person. So it's just, again, what each person is capable of doing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've only seen a couple, and both times it was in my mom's house of all places, that house.
How she grew up in. Great.
Right. Well, kind of. I mean, army brats, but that was grandma's house before my parents bought it. And
So it was always in the family. Okay.
Yeah, that was the house that we would all come back.
Right, right.
And yeah, that was interesting. Let's see. There's a question about, here it is. Is it okay to leave the dream bag in the plastic bag it comes in? And do they lose the potency over time?
It is all right to leave it in that plastic bag because some people do not like the odor, or the odor of the bag makes them sneeze or whatever. So, yes, you can leave it in the plastic. They do not lose anything. The only thing that I've ever seen happen is some people have had them for years and years and years. And so the inside gets really smashed down and sort of crumbly, so it's not as puffy as it was when you first got it, but it still works. People have accidentally thrown them in the washer and dryer and they still work. So yeah, they're pretty indestructible unless your dog chews them, then you got a problem.
So we've got Marianne's website up because there's the question about where to order one of the dream bags, and MarianneWinkowski.com, dream bags, Quincy jewelry, sea salt soap, all the things right over there.
There.
So we have a few more people joining us. Sam, hello Sam. Sam's local to us, and Pam, and Sandy, and then Mary Crow. And Lewis, who was MIA last week.
Yes. Where were you, Lewis?
Right? I mean, I was fielding more comments about where's Lewis than
Yeah.
else.
And we actually got comments about where was Lewis this past Monday on Zoom, because this was supposed to be the one that you were trying to make.
Right. Well, maybe with the beginning of school, because colleges have started here.
Right.
Maybe.
He's got to get on a Friday one so he doesn't have to worry about going to school the next morning.
True. That's the late night party night on Zoom Friday. And all of us old people
party after we're done.
It's like, oh my God, it's 10:30. I gotta go to bed.
Right.
Let's see. So hello, Patricia. Oh, I'm trying to click on it and they keep moving. Oh, so Lewis, he was stuck at work.
Well, I guess we can forgive it this time.
See, where were you? And missed you on Zoom. Telling you. So James says, recently back from Mexico, visited Coba and Chichen Itza. That'd be a fun place to go. Both centers for energy and human sacrifice. What are your thoughts on these ancient sites? Have you visited?
I think that there's a lot of energy. You're right there. There's no doubt about it. And sometimes I wonder if it's the energy there is because so many people visit it.
Mm-hmm.
And, it intensifies the energy there. It's pretty calm, pretty peaceful to me. But, it's where people go to feel good, I think. And it works.
My shaman teacher has some interesting stories about Machu Picchu and the energy beings, the nature spirits that kind of guard and take care of that. And because it's, the Quechua people and stuff would always go up and do despachos and kind of generate that energy. Well, the local government has now deemed that the local people who are from that area are no longer allowed to go do ritual religious rites of the area. And so, and if I remember correctly, I think National Geographic bought that whole Machu Picchu thing. So it's becoming, unfortunately, a little more commercialized, which is why they're trying to preserve it. But
it's going to change the energy of it. It really is. Anytime the government steps in, or big companies step in and take over something like that, it's just never the same.
Yeah, I want to get down there because I've always wanted to see Machu Picchu, but the one mountain, the Asagante, like I don't know what it is about that mountain, but I want to go see that mountain, and then some Machu Picchu. So let's see. Can dogs see earthbound spirits?
Yeah, they can. And if your dog is looking eye level at something, and I'm talking about a dog that's a substantial dog, not a little, 3-pound dog. But if it's a regular size, somewhere between 35 and 50 pounds, if they're looking eye level and maybe growling lowly or low, or their back, their hair standing up a little bit, they're looking at earthbound spirits. If they're looking at the ceiling, that's usually spirits that are visiting, that have crossed over. But if they're looking eye level, and not all dogs can see them like all people can't see them. So it just depends. Your dogs that are considered more protective dogs, guard dogs, rots, doves, shepherds, that type of thing, they seem to be just a little bit more aware of what's going on. But that's what they were bred to do.
Tina asks, if you have a bad dream of a loved one that passed, did they still crossed over?
That does not mean that they are earthbound. If you have a bad dream of somebody that died, 9 times out of 10, that is you having a dream about them. They are not in your dream. To begin with, earthbound spirits can never get into dreams. So that's usually you having a weird dream about somebody.
Let's see. So there's some of these questions are pretty long. So while Lewis and Marianne, you can address this while I read some more. Lewis says, I really would love to join the Zoom, but the problem is for me, it starts around 2 a.m. and I work a lot of early hours and have school.
Like I said, maybe if you try to do it on a Friday Zoom, when you don't have school the next day, that would work. Or maybe if you came on and just stayed on for maybe an hour instead of, oh my God, Ted, can you put that fish away? Oh, you have no idea. The boys decided to go into their toy box and pull out those fish that flip-flop everywhere. And it sounds like it's banging on the floor.
I was like,
it is banging on the floor.
Nailing something on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. And of course they have to do it with, no, of course it's, and when it's on the floor, this tail hits and it bangs. So it makes this stupid noise. And I don't know why the battery in those things never die.
Can you open it and take the battery out, or is it one of those?
I don't know. I haven't really investigated what to do with it, except hide it. Somehow they find it.
So Stacy says, good morning, ladies. Are the dream bags useful if you normally have vivid, bizarre dreams? Do the bags enhance this or make it worse if some of those dreams are a bit scary? After time, does the effect taper off if you continue to use the bag?
It does not make your dreams more vivid. All it really does is help you remember your dreams, especially if you're dreaming about somebody that has died. And it does not, it pretty much stays on an even keel. It really does not alter, one way or the other. It's pretty much stays the same. So you're okay. Plus the fact that there is a quincy inside. So if you don't have your house protected and I purposely put a seed in the dream bags because they go between your pillowcase and your pillow, and some people have done this, pick up the corner of the sheet and stick it underneath on the mattress so that it's over where the pillows are, so that you don't accidentally flip it into the washer and dryer. But they definitely, and people that have insomnia, it helps them sleep. But I've never seen them going downhill. They pretty much, plus I put the seed in because if you have any spirits in your house that are earthbound, when you're sleeping, they'll at least leave you alone because they can't get closer than 3.5 or 4 feet. So
if you're really tall, you might need to put it in the middle of the mattress so it goes.
Correct. Exactly right. Because somebody will go, well, they're still playing with my feet. Well, yeah, that's because you're over 4 feet tall. So, stick it in the middle then. Right.
Mm-hmm. So Patrick says, hi, Marianne. I was watching a show with psychic medium Kim Russo, and she encountered a spirit that actually attacked the actress Gina Gershon. Can earthbounds actually attack people in that way?
I don't know how much of an attack it was. Did their hair get pulled? Did they maybe get scratched? They can't push you down the steps. They can't stab you. They can't suffocate you. They can't kill you. They can't give you a disease. They can walk around a corner and yell boo at you, where you fall backwards down a flight of steps and you break your neck and you die, but they didn't push you. So, and that is one of the reasons why I do not watch those shows, because I just sit there going, you got to be kidding me.
So one of our friends from way over the pond, Sri Lanka, I think she has said before she's in, she says, how they show at times on TV that a ghost is attached to an empty house and won't let any potential owners buy the property. How does that work? Do they stay in the house too?
Okay. Very simply, if the house is vacant, there are no earthbound spirits in the house, because who are they going to get energy from? They are in houses where there are people living. If the house is vacant, they'll go next door to the neighbor and get the energy from them. Now, when somebody shows up at the house, maybe they'll scoot over, but do they stay in the house? No. Are there times when a ghost will not let a house be sold? Yes, there are. But you are living in the house and you're having a hard time selling the house, because when potential buyers walk through the door, the ghost will get right in their space and all of a sudden they feel uncomfortable and they feel creepy. And it's like, this house has 85% of what we want, but we are not going to buy this house because it feels creepy. So they can stop sales, absolutely, but they do not hang out in vacant buildings, vacant houses. That's the joke with in my opinion, with the prison in Mansfield Prison. Halloween's coming up. They're going to be having all these tours, all these overnight things, and the place is vacant 10 months out of the year. There's no ghosts in there. They're at the prison 500 feet behind there. So when there is a tour, these ghosts will come over. But no, if somebody we can't sell that house because it's vacant and it's haunted, get a different real estate agent.
I mean, then there was my house.
Your house was a whole different can of worms, let me tell you.
I honestly think sometimes in seeing some of these stories that it just out of personal experience, like the land and in the practice that I do, everything has living energy and the consciousness, right? The trees, the land.
Everything.
So if there's like some sort of attachment between you and the land, and and in this case, like in a way that land knew better than I did that I needed to wait a little bit longer. So all the people kept coming in and they'd love the house and then they'd leave and then we wouldn't hear anything, again. So
And that could have been the energy from the actual house. The other thing too is that, and I don't have knowledge about it, and maybe you do. I know that longitude and latitude, where the lines cross or meet somehow, if you've got a property where right on that crossing, apparently that can cause all kinds of problems with the house too. Personally, I've never seen it, so I really don't know.
yeah, I haven't heard of that so much. I've heard of if you do a lot of construction on property that it disrupts the energy lines of that. And then you've kind of like sometimes they'll say like you got to come out and put like copper and some of this other like reset it, if you will. But that's like the one thing.
Yeah. That was pretty popular about 6 or 10 years ago. There was a bunch of people that would come out and reset your property, basically. Like, I guess with a computer, if you want it to work right, you turn it off and turn it back on. That makes all the sense in the world to me. Oh, yeah. And so maybe it works something like that. I don't know. But there was actually, I think there's a couple books out about that. But I don't really, like I says, I don't know. It would get to the point where if I like the house that much, I'd pick it up and have it moved to a different piece of property.
Mm-hmm.
Could do that too, right?
Yeah, Lewis says he's like, I think the word attached is used too much. Getting your hair pulled is a nuisance, not not like this attachment.
No, it's not an attachment. Right. They're just in your face. Believe me, that you don't have to have an attachment to have a ghost affect you.
Lisa asks, good morning. Can an earthbound spirit influence a tarot reading? If so, how?
Absolutely. If your client comes in with a ghost attached to them, they're touching your cards, they're shuffling them, and the reading can be totally off. Are you reading the client, the live client that's sitting across from you, or are you picking up on the energy from the ghost that's standing next to the client? So yes, it can. That's why your space, wherever you do this, needs to be cleansed often, smudged on a regular basis, so that if something came in with the client, it leaves with the client. And that way it'll be seriously, if there's a special room that you do, like Melissa's store is totally secure. Nobody can come into her store, no ghost at all. But if you do this in your house, try to make sure that you have at least a quince seed on the door that goes into your room where you do the reading. So if somebody's got something attached to them, it waits outside. And why is this computer making weird noises? Can you hear that, or is that just me?
It sounds a little scratchy sometimes when you're talking, but that's all I hear.
Yeah, you're sounding scratchy too. Okay.
Asking a quick question on some of the streaming here. So Mr. Miyagi says, why do earthbounds with an attachment have to stay so close? Is it because they need the energy? And do they take different kind of energy from different emotions?
As long as the emotions are high, laughing a lot, crying, fighting, anything like that, exercising, anything where there's a lot of energy, they're going to be within 3 or 4 feet of you. When people say they have an attachment, don't get that confused with a possession. That's 2 different things. And an attachment is when they are right next to you. They are like hovering over you constantly. That is not as normal as people seem to think. I mean, you can have an attachment where they're sitting in the room across from you, just gazing at you intently, but they're not standing next to you. But if you leave, it's going to go with you. If you go to work, the spirit's going to go with you. You go to a party, the spirit's going to go with you. It's attached to you that way, not literally hooked onto you.
Let's see. So Marianne's website is still on the screen. So there's some more questions about where to get quinseeds and mugwort bags, dream bags, and this is where you would go to get them. Patrick says that actress had bruises and scratches all over her body.
Well, the scratches I could understand. Hitting them hard enough to give a bruise, maybe sometimes, but it would have to be an awful lot of energy for them to do that. Of course, maybe it was done around a full moon or a new moon or an eclipse. That's a possibility too. It's like I said, scratches. I've already been scratched, so that can happen, but it's not normal. It's far and few between.
Mm-hmm. So there was a question, and I can't find it. There's so many, because everybody's talking amongst themselves as well, so it's fun to read. But there was a question about if you put a quinseed in a wall, like in between the drywall, like how far out will it go into the room? So would it still be the standard 3 feet?
3.5, 4 feet, correct.
So you're actually going to lose probably a good 6 to 8 inches between, the drywall and everything else. And
yeah, what people do with new houses or what they've done with older houses, they'll take the seed, and the ladies will usually just grab a butter knife because they don't know where the screwdrivers are, and they will put it behind the molding above the door and just make a little and shove the seed down there. So it's really right there. It's not down in the wall. So it works. And at least the only problem with, the good thing is that they never get lost. They're always up there. And your painters or your house cleaning people aren't going to scrape it down or move it. But the only problem with that is if you move, you can't get the seed out. When you get to a new house, I have to send you a whole bunch of new seeds. Because normally when people move, they just take the seeds with them and call me when they get to their new house. So, but no, that works. People have actually done that. I wouldn't stick it in a wall. That would make no sense. You need it over the entrance to any place that goes directly to the outside.
Well, Lewis asks, would you rather be able to see spirits and not hear them, or be able to hear them and not see them?
I think being able to only do one of those things would be way too frustrating, because I don't read lips or sign language, and heck, I don't even do charades, which is starting to be a pain in my side. But it would have to be both. That's like when I used to dream way back when I would have dreams. I would dream about a duck crossing a road. And it's like, what the heck does that mean? And why? And so then I would ask, somebody, what does that mean? And they'd give me the stupidest answer. Well, that means you're going to have company from the next state over. You know what? If I can't have a dream that's real and I can see what's going on, I don't even want to dream. And it changed. Now if I dream, I know exactly what it is. I don't have to figure it out.
Pretty clear.
Yeah. And there's a lot of dream interpretation books. There's Native American dream interpretations, there's European dream interpretations, there's all kinds of American. I don't know if you have those books in the store or not, but you can get 16 different answers to what your dream means. So it's a little confusing.
Danielle says, if you have an earthbound spirit and say a relative that passed on comes to visit, can these spirits converse? And can that passed over spirit tell the earthbound to leave?
That is exactly how I can get information to people when I'm clearing their house. If their relative that crossed over is there and that earthbound spirit had even a little bit of knowledge on how to talk to a spirit, I can get information from the one that crossed over. Absolutely. But everything has to be just right. The earthbound spirit has to have some knowledge on how to do it. And they're on different wavelengths, different areas. The earthbound spirit the one that crossed over can get angry and scream at the earthbound spirit, but they don't listen. It's like when you ask Saint Michael the Archangel to come in, different vibration levels. They can't do it. So yeah.
Let's see. There's so many conversations. Okay, here we go. Kate says, like Marianne's cats, we have had a bonded pair, Nemo and Dory. Dory was killed 3 years ago. Nemo is still with us. Can Dory be earthbound waiting for her brother? My spouse used to see Dory's spirit in the house. Since clearing the house and putting the quinseed out, Dory is only seen outside.
Well, yes, Dory absolutely can be waiting for Nemo. That wouldn't be unusual. But think about this: you've got the quinseeds up over your doors, and if Dory was a normal-sized cat, she could still get in and out of the house because she's low to the ground. So if she wanted to get in, she could get in. And that's why some people, and I've had to do it with people that are hunters and have hunting dogs. The seed goes over the door, and then I have to give them extra seeds to put down farther because sometimes, like the one house had a ghost raccoon in it and drove the hunting dogs nuts. But that was the only way to stop the dead animals, the dead animals that they hunted. I just have to laugh. It's like, gosh, when these deers and bears and whatever these hunters hunt, wouldn't it be funny for their spirits to go home with these guys and make them crazy? Just a thought. Yeah, I killed this buck. Look how big it is. And there the buck is standing in the back of the pickup truck. I'm going home with you, bud.
That's right.
Let's get even.
I just think of how you mentioned, having to put seats lower. So the snarky side of me is like, okay, so I'll just duck.
Right. Right. But I mean, or I'll crawling in my belly. Right. But you have to understand, a lot of times when an earthbound spirit tries to come in and the seed is up and they can't, the reasoning isn't there. They just assume that they can't go through that whole doorway. They wouldn't get down and crawl in. And you know what? If you think about it, they actually could go through walls if they wanted to. They just don't.
Shh, don't say that too loud with anybody that has a ghost in their house.
We know your house is clear.
Right. We already played that game. No more burners burning on by themselves.
That's right.
Julie says, I met someone who worked in Sierra Leone. He was telling me about the horrors of the blood diamonds. Do you think the energy of those horrors are attached to the diamonds?
Anything can be cleared. The energy, if something is cursed or it can be removed. So anything like, I think the Hope Diamond, is that the one that's supposed to have a really bad curse on it too, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that one. And I've often thought that's from Europe. This is a way of life for people in Europe. I mean, it's America that think this is crazy. And why haven't they just cleared it? And they could do that with those diamonds too. They could take care of whatever the problem is. Heck, if we can get the curse off the Indians, we can get the curse off of a diamond.
Well, we just need to quit trading our players constantly every time, it's set up to win, and then we farm them out.
Well, in my world, I think that the Indians is the training camp for all the other teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. My husband does not agree with me, but that's my opinion.
Sandy asks, will renovation projects stir up earthbound activity?
If the earthbound spirit in the house was a previous owner, that will usually do it. If you moved in and you didn't change anything and she enjoys seeing your kids and everything, but boy, take down that wall or rip out her kitchen cabinets and you are going to know about it. So, yes, absolutely.
So a kickback to how many months ago where we talked about why are there no dinosaur spirits?
Oh my God. I don't know.
Vicky says, I had a theory about why Marianne has not seen dinosaur ghosts. The world has become so different from theirs of 1,000 years ago. It wouldn't be a place they would understand or feel comfortable. So, maybe that's why they're not hanging around, or
there you go, Melissa. There's your answer. Thank you, Vicky. I so appreciate that because I don't have an answer for it. That works for me.
Let's see. Linda says, are there spirits in the woods? People knock on wood to call them out. I've heard and had an experience of a spirit coming from the wood in my room. Oh, so the wood of like furniture and stuff, not necessarily out in the woods.
Right. I have seen spirits attached to wooden items, but not from a specific tree that the wooden item was made from. I've never really seen that, no. And if they did, they never told me, so.
Kim says, good morning. I have a walk-up attic with a regular door in the main hallway. Will I need a queen seat above that door as well over my 2 outside doors?
Yes, you will. Especially all attics have vents. And if a ghost is hell-bent on getting in, but attics, especially in houses that were, oh my gosh, let me try to get this straight. I think from the 80s and lower. I don't think the 90s. Some of these houses have big exhaust fans in them. That could be a problem. There's also a problem with and so yeah, I would just put it on the door on the inside, up on the top, and that way if somebody comes in your attic, they can't come down into the house. Yeah.
Oh, so the comment about the hunters and the animal spirits. Brooke says, sipping my tea and thinking of Elmer Fudd's animal haunted house.
Cute. Yeah, unfortunately, Bugs was alive.
So maybe I don't think we've talked much on the sleep paralysis thing. But Melanie says, sleep paralysis happens to me often, but I doubt it's anyone holding you down. When I get it, I can't move, but I can hear and see what's going on. You just don't panic.
Well, I'm glad that you don't panic because that just makes it worse. And I think sleep paralysis, especially in children, can actually be caused by ghosts in the kid's room. And I think maybe the paralysis is a fear reaction. They're just too afraid to move because of what's in the room. But keep this in mind too, that if you have aliens around, they will make you paralyzed too, where you cannot move. So without a call, I really wouldn't know which it could be. But the good thing is the children usually outgrow that. So that's a good thing.
So now that you brought up aliens,
no,
there was a question about what did the kind that your family saw, what did it look like? How did it behave?
I've seen 2 different kinds. Ones were grayish, no mouth, not the almond eyes. The greenish colored ones have the slanted eyes, but they do have like a circle for a mouth and 2 dots like for a nose. Their heads are bigger, they're thin. The other ones, like I said, don't have a mouth, don't have a nose, and their eyes are round. They're not almond shaped. Um, you know, that's how I am seeing them. I don't know if everybody sees them that way. When they see them, I don't know.
There are a few, I shouldn't say a few, like two of the colleagues that I work with that I trust in what they would have to say about aliens. And there's different races and they all look different, supposedly.
Which I believe. I mean, we all look different, so why wouldn't they? I mean, you can tell people uh, from their regions that they're born, what they look like. I can always tell when I meet somebody that has European background because they have a very distinct, look about them. And so, yeah, and I think aliens are probably identically the same as far as that goes. They all look different.
Oh, Karen says, is there a way to protect yourself from them?
That I know of. There's a couple of stones that you could put around. I can tell you where to get the stones. I don't know how you would get them, however. They would be stones, and I don't know if this is a good idea. You want to get these stones from Loch Ness, where the water is, where Nessie is supposedly in. The stones from there, aliens absolutely just do not like at all. So, and I actually have some. I got them about 40 years ago, and I don't have very many left. And what I started doing about 20 years ago, those stones I had, I put into a canning jar with water. And I have found out that water will actually, even in a tiny little bottle this big, if you have that water and you set it on your nightstand, if you can't use a stone, that will keep them away also. But and I don't know, I've added water to the jar a couple of times, and I'm just worried that the more water I add, the weaker it's going to be. Yeah, so I'm sort of, and I really don't know anybody that lives there anymore that can send me some more stones.
Let's see. And Sandy, who goes with me for some of my buying trips, she's like, next business trip.
Oh, Scotland. There we go. Go to Scotland. Yeah. Go see if you can find Nessie.
There was a question, I lost it, but the question was, the aliens that you saw, were they wearing any sort of garment or were they naked?
No, it was just their bodies, and they were nothing distinguishing them from a male or a female. They all looked alike. So there were no body differences. So maybe they were all one sex. I don't know.
And Melanie asks, speaking of aliens, are you familiar with the raw material and what are your thoughts if so?
No idea what that is.
I don't think I've read it. I've read a good chunk of The Ancient Secret of the Tree of Life, and it's a 2-piece, and I was looking to see if I've unpacked it, by Melchizedek, and that one was kind of interesting. Let's see. Light, Peace, Love, Sweet says, my girlfriend and I saw an alien morph into a human being shape. It was early in the evening. He was very tall and very pasty white. Then when he realized we saw him, he changed.
I believe you. Absolutely 100%. Because in my opinion, if not all pure, I believe there are some purebred, no human mixed with them, that do have the shape of humans. But I do believe that when the bodies of humans are taken and they're used and parts and pieces or fluids are taken from them, I really do believe that there are half human, half aliens that look like humans that are walking around too. I do believe that.
Let's see. And now everybody wants to go on a trip with us to Scotland.
Scotland. Yeah. Great.
Lewis, line up some travel.
Yeah. Meet us in Scotland, Lewis. No, wait. Marianne's not coming. Just meet Melissa.
Why won't you come? It'll be fun.
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
I would have to think about that one.
It'll be fun. Let's see. Okay, so Adam, who's also read the Rama, he said it's channeled information from a supposed ET who visited ancient civilizations on Earth.
Okay. You know, everybody has some kind of knowledge that can be put into a pot where everybody can get an answer from something that somebody else knows. And this is a perfect example of that. Maybe I don't know something, you don't know something, but there's somebody out there that does. So thanks for helping us figure some of this stuff out.
So Adam has asked, do you believe in the Bermuda, there we go, triangle. Have you ever met the spirit of someone who disappeared from there?
I do believe in the Bermuda Triangle. Absolutely. I believe I did down in Florida, but I didn't know it at the time. And that was the problem. I could have asked all kinds of questions if I had realized it, but it was probably 10, 15 years after that I realized that that's how the person died. That's the only one that I know of. And I would have gotten, or I would have tried to get more information, but I couldn't. But I would think that there's a lot of people that have gone missing in the Bermuda Triangle that, because of the way they died, I'm sure they never crossed over. And of course, what is it? What was the story with where they came out walking? Richard Dreyfuss. Close Encounters. Okay. Those people, some of those people, they said disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle. And I'm not just doing this right.
It's always backwards.
Yeah, I know. There we go. Okay.
It become one of the little emo kids, hair hanging over, and then you gotta like flip your head every so often. Okay, so apparently there's an Alaskan triangle. Do you believe in?
Never heard of that. Oh, this is making me crazy.
Oh, everybody. Yeah. And see, this is why this is so much fun. So many of our friends here in the chat are like, hey, make sure you like and share and thank you, because I don't think to do that while I'm reading all of this, but liking and sharing and getting more people to join in, make sure, it keeps getting shown and people can come back and watch later.
That means that's something I don't have to do, right? One more thing off my list.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. So I remember this, that alien autopsy film. It was looking real. It was back in the 90s. So supposedly, like, they had recovered one of the bodies from Roswell, and they were doing the whole autopsy, and so many people, thought it was real. And it's kind of like when was it the History Channel did that documentary on mermaids and how they were real, and like they did such a good job with it that people are like, they're real, which they probably are, but not to the extent.
Sure, they existed at some point in great numbers. I don't think they have great numbers of them now, but I do. Mermaids, I'm sure.
And I think they even did a dragon one, and that by then, though, it came out like how much of how the mermaid one was fake. So when the dragon one came out, people kind of watched it, but there wasn't like this, it's so great, like the mermaid one was.
I saw that one. The mermaid I did. And the alien dissection I did see too. But I think they proved that wrong, if I wasn't mistaken, that they figured it out, that a lot of it was camera work. Yeah.
So can a human spirit reincarnate on another planet?
I don't know. I know you don't reincarnate into a different species, but Sure, why not? I mean, once you're a spirit, I guess you can go anywhere you want to go.
I kind of think you can, that what we perceive as a human spirit is only because we're in the human body and our mind has to perceive it that way. So, during the death rites of, my training, like completely going back to like a creation point and being able to go wherever, I wanted for that 5 minutes. It was like the best vacation ever.
Yeah, and I know people that their lives changed after they were able to do something like that.
Mhm. It's there are times now to sit there and think of like the whole existence that we're doing, and I'm like, none of this means a darn thing. It is such a tiny, minuscule, like in the grand scope of having been there and to see what's really.
Somebody said to me the other day, sometimes I think that the earth is a snow globe sitting on some alien child's desk, and they just shake the snow globe and watch all of us little people run around inside. Why not? Okay.
And I agree. Like I'm done with this planet. Like I just done.
You just have to hope the other ones have it right.
Hmm. In one of the classes we have done with the star beings, with one of my local people, there is a race, the Assyrians, that are giant cat-like people. And so when I was learning about them, I'm like, I wonder who created in Hanna-Barbera the Thundercats, like what they were channeling. And
Yeah, where do people get their imaginations from?
right. And I'm like, that is my freaking planet. I am Leopard Prince. It's like, I want to go home. I'm tired of being here. This is not fun.
Go to the cat planet.
Yes, yes. Like I'm just done. Um, so let's see. Oh, we're getting close, and you've got to go pretty much right at 11. So Marianne's website is here on the screen. So if you want to be able to get the Quincy jewelry, which you do not sell the seeds individually. I've seen that question a couple times. And that's not something that you want to just go put up on your own anyway, because you can make your problem worse if you trap them in. But Marianne's Quincy jewelry, the Blessed Sea Salt soap, mugwort bags, those are all right there on her website. You ship anywhere in the continental US, not quite overseas, because unfortunately, they tend to go missing.
Yeah. And Monday, Labor Day, is the new moon. So do your law of abundance. It peaks at 8:52 p.m., which would be an easy one for us to do. We don't have to get up at 2 minutes after midnight. So anytime after midnight, but before 8:52 p.m. that day, Eastern Standard Time. So do it accordingly to your own time zone. Um, we are at on Labor Day. Also, if you're not out doing a picnic, I will be on the Noon News Channel 3. I did a house for them that they're going to air. Pretty interesting. The next Zoom is the 10th of September. How are we doing on that, Melissa?
It was down to a handful. Let me see if the screen will refresh. Yep. So we've got like 7 openings for September 10th, which is a Friday.
Okay. The next one that isn't opened yet, but will be on the 20th, which is a Monday, and that's a full moon. So that might be an interesting one to get onto. And you talk about the winery on the 18th. We'll be there in Avon.
Avon Lake, yeah, on Walker Road, John Christ Winery. You can just come out. You don't need to register for that one. There's going to be, I think right now we're at 23 readers and healers, on top of Marianne. Now, keep in mind, Marianne does not do readings. So you don't need to panic thinking that you've got to sign up for a reading, because Marianne's not a psychic medium. But we will have psychic mediums, tarot readers, palmistry, all of that. And we're outside, so it's a really nice venue. And that's from 5 to 10. So it's later in the evening. You can come after work. It's a lot of fun. There's going to be a couple food trucks out there. So But yeah, we do that usually twice a year, but COVID, this is the first time since 2019 we've been able to do it.
And people just bring pictures, let me look at them. I'll have all my products there, and Melissa will have the books there. And so just, I talk. You think I talk a lot, but I talk. So you just have to, come up and talk, and come up and meet me. Come and see us.
And the website link there on the screen is how to join any of the Zooms. So that works regardless of what the date is. It just automatically pops, the date and the available spaces for you. So, so September 10th, and the next one will be the 20th. But that's how you join. It is $20. Keep in mind 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you are in another time zone country, we love to have you. It's always fun. We just had a couple of ladies from Wales last time, and that was
Nice.
I was listening to their accent, but just make sure you adjust for the time change. But yeah, that's pretty much all that we have. We are still working on the podcast. I went ahead and made the email and some other things. Been going back and forth with Rebecca on the music for intros and outros.
She's working on it. It's good. And she was the one that brought on the two gals from Wales.
Because they were family.
They're her cousins. And the girls were young, sweet. I love how they speak. When you hear language that you're not used to hearing all the time, it's so fun to listen to. Mm-hmm. And how did she say garage? The garret? I think that's what they call the garage, the garret. But I had asked them about a stone wall somewhere on the property, and they went right to the stone garret, the stone garage. And okay, I don't think they quite get it. But I talked to Rebecca the next day, and she said there is definitely a stone wall behind the house. They never even thought of that. And that's where the ghost was standing. So that's okay.
And I'm going to make a quick little comment here. I see a couple of questions asking why we skipped over them. And when I go back and I find them, the chat box that I can put on the screen is only so big. So if you have too much detail leading up to your question, I can't even see your question because I'm just seeing the preamble to it. So please next week, ask again, but kind of shorten that down because I can't even see all of what you're typing in there because it's too long. But we will definitely address it next week. Just kind of short and sweet it for us so it actually will pop up. But yeah, we do this every Wednesday. So, join us next week at 10 a.m. with your coffee, tea, or maybe wine, maybe
you never know. Somewhere. And the YouTube tonight at 5:30 is going to be on summer ghosts. I guess I never thought about it before, but around Christmas time, people will always, get up in arms about what the ghosts are doing to their lights outside on the trees. And weddings, people always complain about what happens at weddings because of ghosts and what have you. Halloween, of course, because everybody's got ghosts at Halloween. But I never thought about the seasons. And this one today's 2 letters came in, and they're definitely summer ghosts. So tune in if you got time. Yeah.
All right. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. And we'll see you next week.
Next Wednesday. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend and a good Labor Day weekend coming up.
Right. Be safe, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.